Hello again, everyone. This is Julian from Bristol with another few vinyl finds. Most of these were from the latest Bristol Record Fair, and just for a change, I thought I'd buy a few singles. I was in a singles buying mood for a change. Did get a few albums as well. Um, I bought quite a few upgrades for my singles collection, so I'm not going to show you those because they were fairly run-of-the-mill things. I've just got a few of the more interesting ones to show you here. So we'll begin with the singles, and this first one is by Honeybus, British band, of course well known for their 1968 hit "I Can't Let Maggie Go," which was written by Pete Dello. He left the band by the time this one had come out. Girl of Independent Means, not a hit. It was written by band member Ray Kane, and it's quite a sort of bluesy, shuffly type thing with a sort of quite a pop tinge to it, I guess. The B-side is called How Long, and that's written by three other band members. Yeah, this is a nice record. Not especially collectible, but Honeybus are always an interesting band to get records by. I think they're always quite interesting, quite melodic. Their album, I think they just did the one album, and it didn't come out until 1970. That was called Story, but that's quite a collectible piece. Yeah, Girl of Independent Means, if you see any other Honeybus records, then they're well worth picking up. Always good quality. Next up, we've got something by a band not associated with singles really, but it's Van der Graaf Generator, and this was made towards the end of their first period of existence. Issued in 1972, and it's their version of Theme 1, which is an instrumental piece written by George Martin. His orchestra did the first version about 1967, I think. This is a very organ-heavy version of it. It's on the Pink Charisma label, just before it changed over to the more famous Mad Hatter design. Yeah, it's a nice one to have. A great tune, instantly recognisable. Side 2 is just called W. That's a really interesting one. It's doesn't actually give any writing credit on it, but you can definitely hear Peter Hamill's voice there. Something that would have may even be on one of their albums. I'm not sure. I've got a couple, but I've not come across it before. But yeah, nice one to have. And I suspect that's a repro sleeve, but nonetheless, didn't cost me a great deal, and I've always wanted the record as well. So that's Theme 1 by Van der Graaf Generator. Next up is a Dutch band by the name of Brainbox. They had a couple of records out over here on Parlophone. This was the second one. Came out in 1970. As you can see, it's a factory sample. It's got the sticker on it there. The A-side is called To You, and the B-side is called So Helpless. Both sides were written by the group's singer Kaz Lux, who had a very strong bluesy rock voice with a great range. They were very popular in Holland. They had several records out there, but they're probably best known here for being the band which at one time included guitarist Jan Akkerman before he joined Focus. I think he left by the time this one came out. But nice record. Again, pretty spotless condition as well. And a nice one to have. So that's Brainbox. I think they were sort of going from about 1967 to 1971, something like that. But again, one of those bands, if you see anything by them, it's well worth picking up if you like sort of hard rock, blues orientated rock. Right, next we've got some a couple of soul items. And the first one is by the great Wilson Pickett. And this is Don't Fight It from 1965. I'm not sure if it was issued before in the midnight hour or afterwards, but it's on the same black Atlantic label. Another really nice copy, this one. The B-side's called It's All Over. That's more of a ballad. Don't Fight It is an upbeat sort of funky soul type thing, which became quite popular. I think a lot of people covered it as well. Wilson Pickett, of course, a giant amongst soul singers of that era, alongside the likes of Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Aretha Franklin, Don Covey. And he recorded his most of his material, I think, at the Muscle Shoals studios down in Alabama, and he's got that very well known bunch of session guys playing with him. Although Steve Cropper was associated with the Stax label, but there was a crossover on numerous occasions. But yeah, this is a good one. Didn't chart, but a nice one if you can get hold of it, if you like soul of that Atlantic and Stax stable. Don't Fight It, great record, 1965. Next one, a year later, but on the same label. This is the Marquis with the Philly Dog, and on the other side, Honey Pot. Again, this is a nice condition 45, the Black Atlantic label. Just before it moved, the distribution went to Polydor from Decca. Philly Dog is basically Rufus Thomas's song Do the Dog. Instrumental, of course. The Marquis, most associated, I suppose, as a kind of offshoot of Booker T and the MGs. I'm pretty sure some of the members played in both groups. Marquis' best known record, I suppose, is Last Night from 1961, which got a lot of cover versions, very familiar, played a lot on various TV and soundtracks. But yeah, I thought I'd pick this one up because I've been looking for it for a while. So Philly Dog, the Marquis, 1966. Honey Pot is actually written by Booker T and the MGs, the B-side, with a couple of others. So a couple of good funky soul tracks there, R&B influenced. Right, next some kind of psych-tinged pop, I guess, from quite a collectible band of the day. And that is Skip Bifferty. I was pleased to pick this one up. They're a really renowned band, British band. This is Happy Land is the A-side. The B-side, Reason to Live. All band compositions. Skip Bifferty weren't around a particularly long time. 1967, I think, to 69. You can see this is a nice bit of, again, a nice condition vinyl on the black RCA Victor label. Skip Bifferty's album of the same name is a very collectible record. I think an original one goes for sort of £400 now. But this record, it's it's kind of, I suppose, baroque influenced. Um, Graham Bell was the lead singer. B-side's good as well. Nice record. Sort of cost me a fair bit, but not too much. I got a pretty good deal on it. Um, so yeah, Skip Bifferty didn't get promoted much as a band, unfortunately. Graham Bell formed another group afterwards called Bell and Arc. I think they did an album, which is also quite a collectible one too. Um, the last single I've got to show you here is this oddity, which um, again I played it first to make sure I liked it, and I've never heard of this band before, but it's on Decca, and the band is called Satisfaction. Now I had to do a bit of digging on them to see who was in it and how they came about. The track is Love It Is. Came out on Decca 1971. And the B-side is called Cold Summer. As I said, I did a bit of digging on them and discovered that they were in fact that they emanated from the Mike Cotton sound. Mike Cotton was he's a jazz trumpeter and flugelhorn player. He originally had his group, the Mike Cotton Jazzmen, who were basically a trad band, played in the 1950s and early 60s. And then when the trad thing sort of faded out, he changed the whole thing to a much more progressive and current group called the Mike Cotton Sound, and they were more sort of R&B soul type of group, and they made a few records which are now quite collectible. They had in their lineup for a while Dave Rowbury, who joined the Animals to replace Alan Price on keyboards, and guitarist was Derek Griffiths later on in the lineup, who was in the Arkwoods, and he's also on this as well when they became Satisfaction. This is kind of prog jazz, yeah, quite melodic. Got a lot of layers to it, I would say. Arranged by Mike Cotton. Produced by David Hitchcock, who shortly afterwards produced Genesis, I think, and a few other well-known prog bands. But this is a nice record, didn't cost me too much. Good B-side as well. They did one album, Satisfaction, but the singles don't get listed anywhere, so I can only assume that they're not deemed especially collectible. But that one is certainly a good quality release. So if you see it around, it's worth getting. Right, on to the albums now. Just a few to show you here. The first one I picked up was one I've been after for a while. And it's a nice sort of funky soul album. And it's Upchurch Tennyson's. That's Phil Upchurch and Tennyson Stevens. And this was issued in 1975 on the Kudu label, which is an offshoot of CTI, Creed Taylor International. As I say, yeah, nice funky soul album. Phil Upchurch, very well known session guitarist and bass player, played with a lot of people. Had a minor hit instrumental under his own name called "You Can't Sit Down" in the 1960s. Let's have a look at the vinyl there. Nice yellow Kudu label, and the vinyl pretty spotless. And only cost me a tenner, this one. Some really good tracks if you like sort of New York flavoured soul and funk, then this is well worth getting hold of. Um, we have side one, You Got Style, Ave Maria, traditional arrangement, In Common, Tell Me Something Good, Don't I Know You, Southside Morning, Evil, Black Gold, and I Wanted It Too. And we have some great players on here as well. Keyboards, Bob James, Tennyson Stevens, who also sings. Bass, Doug Bascom, Eric Gale, and Phil Upchurch himself. Drums, Steve Gadd and Andrew Smith. Guitar, Eric Gale and again Phil Upchurch. And alto sax, David Sanborn. So it's got a very good lineup on there. And yeah, if you like your soul and funk, it's well worth getting hold of this one. Upchurch, Tennyson, 1975. Next up, something which I thought was going to be something and it wasn't, but nevertheless, it's perfectly okay. This is the album is called Troggs Tapes by the Troggs, of course. Now, the what I thought this would have on it was the famous tape that was recorded of the Troggs in the studio having one almighty argument with one another over the latest thing they were recording, with all the comical expletives and whatever, and how it goes on. It's quite a well-known bit of footage. But actually this was, that's also known as the Troggs Tapes, but this album, the Troggs Tapes, was issued in 1976. And it's got only, well, Reg Presley along with Ronnie Bond, the drummer from the original lineup. And it's got, it's actually a 5-piece band, also with Tony Murray on bass, and Richard Moore guitar and Colin Fletcher guitar. That said, it's a perfectly good album. I really like it. It's got some tracks. The track listing is Get You Tonight, We Rode Through the Night, A Different Me, Down South to Georgia, Gonna Make You, and then on side 2, Supergirl, I'll Buy You an Island, Rolling Stone, After the Rain, Rock and Roll Lady, and Walking the Dog, the Rufus Thomas song that they do a version of. All in typical Troggs style. I guess it was probably, as I say, 1976, so well after they had their heyday in terms of chart hits. Sadly, the banter isn't on it, so I can only assume that is still out there somewhere. Maybe it's on a record. But as I say, the Trog Tapes, if you want the legendary one with the arguing and the banter on it, then that's not on here. But it's still a good album. As I say, it's on the Penny Farthing label. And it's a pretty spotless copy. And yeah, it's a nice one. I'm quite happy with that. And all fans of the Troggs have probably got it anyway. But yeah, it's a good one to add to my collection. Next is a band that I've really sort of got to like and really got into over the last few years, and it's Caravan, and this is the album for those for girls who grow plump in the night. It was a bit of a controversial cover at the time, but there's the gatefold, and it's a nice original on DRAM, 1973. Again, nice condition, this one. I had this on CDs, but I've been looking for a reasonably priced vinyl copy, and pleased to have got this one. Caravan, pretty big on the prog scene, still going. In fact, they were led by guitarist and vocalist Pi Hastings, and for a while they had the Sinclair cousins, Richard on bass and David on keyboards, Richard Coghlan on drums. On this lineup, Richard Coghlan, Pi Hastings, John G. Perry bass and vocals, Peter Jeffrey Richardson on viola. He's still in the current lineup of the band with Pi Hastings. And Dave Sinclair still on the keyboards on this. The tracks we've got, Memory Lane Hugh, which is quite an orchestral piece with brass in it. Head Loss, Hoedown, Surprise Surprise, and Thlu. And side 2, The Dog, He's At It Again, Be Alright, Chance of a Lifetime, L'Auberge du Sanglier, A Hunting We Shall Go, Pengola, and Backwards, which is a Soft Machine track written by Mike Ratledge, fellow Canterbury musician. And A Hunting We Shall Go reprise at the end. This is one of their best albums, I think. Certainly alongside the likes of If I Could Do It All Over You, If I Could Do It All Over Again, I'd Do It All Over You, In the Land of Grey and Pink. And as I say, Caravan's still going. A lot of gigs up and down the country, and that's a nice album. Caravan, for girls who grow plump in the night, one of their best. Next, another band that kind of scratched the prog scene, a bit more bluesy, I suppose, and this was a predominantly Scottish band, Stone the Crows. And I think this is either their first or their second album. It's called Ode to John Law, issued in 1970, Polydor. The gatefold. Stone the Crows, for those not familiar with them, featured Maggie Bell, great British vocalist, sometimes compared to Janis Joplin in her vocal delivery. Very bluesy, quite raunchy. And there's the vinyl. Nice shiny one on Polydor. This album's also, well, the other people in the band, Les Harvey, guitar, late brother of the late Alex Harvey. He was Les Harvey tragically killed by a live microphone on stage at a gig in the early 70s. James Dewar, bass and vocals. He went on to be in Robin Trower's band. And then John McGuinness, organ, piano. Colin Allen, drums. Colin Allen, well known with previously with Zoot Money's band, and then played with John Mayall. Went on to join Focus for a short while after Stone the Crows. It's a good bluesy rock album, this one. Side 1, Sad Mary, Friend, Love, 74. And side 2, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Not the Noel Coward one, I hasten to add. It was written by Les Harvey and Colin Allen. Things Are Getting Better, Ode to John Law, and Danger Zone, the Percy Mayfield blues number that Ray Charles made famous. Stone the Crow's always good. Yeah, always made good albums. Good raunchy rock and blues band. That one you don't often see it around, but it's worth picking up if you see it. Right, and last up to show you another one I've been after for a while. This is an upgrade, and it's an album that, that I'm sure you all know. It's very familiar. I've got something like a 4th reissue of it, and I've wanted an original for a while, and I managed to find this one at a fairly decent price as well, because some of them do go for crazy money. But it's Jimi Hendrix Experience, Axis Boulder's Love, the second Hendrix album, and it's got the gatefold, which my reissue hasn't, and most importantly of all, it's a nice original track label issue, 1967, and for the year, that is very nice shiny clean vinyl. I've got the first album, Are You Experienced, on track, so it's nice to have this one as well. The songs on here, you probably all know them, especially if you're a Hendrix aficionado, but we've got EXP, Up From the Skies, Spanish Castle Magic, Wait Until Tomorrow, Ain't No Telling, Little Wing, If 6 Was 9, and then side 2, You Got Me Floating, Castles Made of Sand, She's So Fine, One Rainy Wish, Little Miss Lover, and Bold as Love. Produced by Chas Chandler, who brought him over here, of course, in 1966. And not a lot to say about that album. Another fantastic record with Jimi Hendrix demonstrating why he was such a master of the electric guitar. Yeah, great to have that album in its original format. Axis Boulder's Love. Nice laminated cover as well. So I'm really pleased to pick that one up. Right, well, there we are. That's it for now. Hope you've enjoyed that selection. Let me know in the comments box what you think of the records, if you've got any more information about them, any comments you want to make, and do like and subscribe as well if you want to get the next video, or if you want to see some more that I've made in the past. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching again, and hope to speak to you again soon. Till then, take care, be nice to each other, and bye for now.